LA protests current situation as of June 10, 2025. As of Tuesday, June 10, 2025, large-scale protests are continuing for the fourth day in Los Angeles, LA, USA. These demonstrations are primarily protesting against the Trump administration's intensified crackdown on undocumented immigrants. The protests were ignited on June 6 local time, when Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE launched operations, rounding up and arresting undocumented immigrants in areas like the LA Fashion District. Key characteristics and current status of the LA protests. Cause of the protests: the unrest was triggered by the Trump administration's aggressive enforcement and deportation efforts, particularly due to reported procedural irregularities during arrests and cases of individuals being deported to facilities like prisons in El Salvador. These incidents have fueled widespread anger. Nature of the protests. Escalating violence. The protests have taken on an increasingly violent character, with numerous reports of vehicles set on fire in downtown streets. Notably, at least 5 Google Waymo self-driving cars were reportedly burned. Clashes with police. Intense confrontations between protesters and law enforcement continue. Police are employing tear gas, pepper spray, flashbang grenades, and even less lethal projectiles, such as rubber bullets, to disperse demonstrators. As a result, there have been many injuries, and approximately 56 people have been arrested. National spread. What began in LA is now showing signs of spreading to other major U.S. cities, including San Francisco, Chicago, Washington, D.C., New York, and Tampa, Florida. Government response. Deployment of National Guard. President Trump has characterized the protests as riots and has signed a presidential memorandum authorizing the deployment of 2,000 National Guard troops to suppress the demonstrations. Currently, 300 National Guard members have already arrived in LA to assist with crowd control, and the deployment of an additional 700 U.S. Marines is reportedly being prepared. Stern warnings. The Secretary of Homeland Security has issued a stark warning, stating that protesters who obstruct law enforcement or commit violence against officers will face prosecution to the fullest extent of the law. Furthermore, President Trump has declared that protesters will be prohibited from wearing masks during the demonstrations. Political controversy. The Trump administration's heavy-handed response and the deployment of the National Guard have drawn strong criticism from Democratic politicians. They accuse the administration of deliberately provoking the situation and argue that direct federal intervention is illegal, thus escalating the situation into a significant political dispute. The LA protests are a significant event that highlights not only issues related to immigration, but also broader public discontent with the Trump administration's policies and ongoing debates over democratic values, reflecting a tense period in American society.